Welcome guys to another episode of HTHT where the set is cheap and the top is deep, but this time we are once again in our new set, so not very cheap anymore. We shall think of a new opening sequence, yeah? My name is John, I'm your host for HTHT, and today we're joined by Sean.
I want a new host!
No, you do not! Once again, my name is John, and today we're joined by Sean Fu!
Hi.
He is the founder of Dear Straight People, an online website garnering support for the gay community in Singapore, and he's also the mind behind the recently viral video series Same Love, which garnered over 700,000 views. Damn! And has produced works for such videos like Out of the Closet, it's a series, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, seen by thousands of people on Facebook, shared thousands of times, and also the content manager for the Smart Locals creative team, which I know too well because he's my head of department. But what makes this influential figure tick? Today we'll find out today. So welcome to HTHT.
Yay.
Do you like to HTHT?
No, not really, but okay.
Too bad! So today we're here to find out more about you. Awesome. Okay, so first things first, right? Okay, what we're gonna do here all the time, HTHT, right? We like to loosen some lips up. So, bam.
Okay.
You have some Godfather, get in on this. And we have Anchor. Which one you like? Both never tried before. Both don't like.
I want Godfather, it sounds cooler.
Okay.
Anchor, probably cool as well. Sponsor next time.
Sponsor us. Cheers to that. Bam.
What happened to Summersby?
Summersby couldn't join us on this project. I don't know, you ask producer lah. Producer say Summersby, but today I haven't seen a single bottle. Okay, first things first, okay, we're going to tell our burgeoning audience, to find out more about you. Sean, you studied accountancy in uni, right?
Arts and accountancy.
Arts and accountancy?
Yes.
Okay, I need to know about accountancy. Why do you choose to go into arts and accountancy?
Arts was to satisfy myself, accountancy was to satisfy my parents.
Wait. As in, what, your parents wanted you to be an accountant?
No, as in...
That's another obscure goal, right? Usually people are like, oh, be doctor, be lawyer.
Huh? Accounting is very Asian. What?
Really, man?
My entire class was... Okay, so I studied in Melbourne, okay?
Right.
But my class was almost entirely Asian for accounting.
Which university do you go to?
Monash in Melbourne.
Okay.
So, but then in my arts class, right, I was literally one of the few Asian people in that class.
Oh, you Asian parents gotta chill, man. Maybe people want to do art. Right. Okay. So, what made you switch paths from accountancy to the one that you're doing now?
Starting Dear Straight People made me switch.
When did it start?
I started Dear Straight People in my final year of uni. So before that, I was really very hell-bent on becoming an auditor. So I did 2 auditing internships. I got my job offers before I graduated.
Yeah.
So everything was set. And then when I started Dear Straight People for fun,
this Dear Straight People, it started as like a college dorm project kind of thing, is it? You just decided to I want to do something, is it?
It started, I think, because when you're in uni, sometimes you have a lot of free time.
Okay, yes, I understand that feeling.
so it was just something for me to do lah.
Right.
So when I started Dear Straight People, I didn't imagine that it would last this long, as long as it has now.
Right.
So as I was doing it, eventually it got to a point where I felt like I wanted to learn how to do it properly, which is why I decided to make the career switch. So by the time I decided that, I was already a full-time auditor.
Yeah, right. So that means all this while you were auditor, you also continuously generated content, like written content or
written content. Back then, I didn't know how to use the camera.
Right. Okay. So it was purely motivated by wanting to push forward this site that you have lah.
And auditing is depressing lah. Yeah.
Auditing is depressing. I mean, okay. So you will never go back to accountancy.
Never.
Okay. Cool. Next question. Okay. I think this is an important one because I also want to find out, right? So you always sometimes classify yourself as like a non-creative. Okay, a non-creative at heart, or you didn't have a creative background, right? Being a non-creative in the creative industry, right? Leading a creative team, okay? How's this experience for you, Tell us a bit more. Because I believe this is quite a unique position you find yourself in. Not many people can relate to this.
I don't know how to answer this question.
Wow, think about it, man. If you had to summarize it up into one, maybe weigh it between the challenges and what's good and what's not,
Okay, I think leading the creative team in a company like the Smart Local, I think I can I can see things from the management perspective a lot of times. Because I wouldn't classify myself as an artist lah. You know, which
I agree.
which is which is I think the biggest difference between me and the rest of the creative team.
Okay.
So at the same time, I'm also very aware that when it comes to creative work, I mean I can do the job lah, but I'm aware that I'm probably the least talented creative person in the team.
Right.
So in the sense of how I make sense of that is I try to compensate in other ways.
But like what?
Like being better at management
Right.
or being better at all the account servicing stuff that generally creatives don't like to do.
Yeah. Amen to that.
Yeah, but I don't know how to answer that question.
Well, I believe you gave us some good points lah. Okay, compensating in other ways so that people still respect you in the team, I guess. But would you say that like this is a point of insecurity for you?
No.
Not being an artist leading a group of artists like you mentioned. I mean, I use the term artist loosely, but yeah.
I think that me being in the creative team and leading a creative team, I was not placed there as like a specialist.
Right.
You know, I'm pretty much the suit in the team in the sense I'm trying to make you understand from the other perspective. So it's not really a point of insecurity for me because like it's not something that I pride myself on and not something that I'm very interested in being better at.
Okay. So not having this skill set is not a thing for you. It's not an issue at all.
No, as long as I can do a decent job, that's fine for me.
Oh, okay, cool. This is why also he refuses to be called a creative. He is content manager. Actually,
that is my official job title.
Yeah, is that on your name card as well?
Yes,
content. All right,
it's
I remember
card.
you're the one. I forgot it's content strategist or manager.
No, I have 2 name cards. One says content manager, one says creative lead.
Oh right. Which one's the new one? That one is the creative lead. It's the new one, right?
Creative lead is a newer one.
Uh-huh.
Yes, but I haven't given out my name card in a while.
Yeah, neither have I. We've been stuck in office. Okay, but expanding on that. Okay, so what is one thing that you feel having worked with creatives, right? People who are generally more into the visual thing than looking at the other aspects of a job. Okay, what do you feel creatives get wrong / need to understand to succeed in an industry and not just as artists? Because I mean, I feel that a lot of creatives also we just here to hone our craft, but they don't understand that they are in an industry, right?
Yep.
So what do you think that industries? What do you think creatives get wrong or they need to understand?
I think sometimes creatives can be overly idealistic. In the sense that, okay, I think the thing about me is that starting Dear Straight People has made me very pragmatic.
Right.
I used to be very idealistic before I started it. Then after I started it, so for example, right, one thing that's changed for me is that I feel now, right, I believe that everyone has an agenda. Everyone is doing something for a reason. So whenever someone tells me that they're just doing something purely for passion, I don't buy it.
Right.
Like I don't buy it.
Okay.
I mean, they can be, but it will not last them beyond 1 year.
Right.
So I think that's something that a lot of creatives might not be aware of until they have to start something on their own, or they are placed in a position where like they are very much where they have to deal with, I guess, the world
where the consequences are more
high stakes.
Right.
Because I think like a creative working in a company, you know, as an employee, sometimes you don't really feel that you're sheltered from a lot of these things. You know, you're not worried about whether your project gets seen, things like that. You're not worried about whether clients will come back to you.
So it's essentially them kind of still being behind in the shadow of the company.
Yes.
And that's why they can still hold on to this idealism, which is a little bit unreal. So I believe this is the message you want to give to maybe fresh creatives coming in or current creatives. Or do you think all creatives need to like check their heads?
You made me sound like such an asshole.
No, I mean this is important. Man, because
I would say that it's not just something for creatives. I think it's just something all of us learn. It's something that we all learn as we grow up. That the world is how it is. And there are 2 ways to go about it. One is you accept the world for what it is and you play along. And the other way is you refuse to accept the world for what it is and then you just keep doing your own thing.
Which one is you think is better? Or like
you accept the world for what it is and you play along.
I think the other route has more hardship.
Yes. And more resentment, more anger. I think when you're very accepting of how the world is like, you start to, I guess, you won't become as angry
right,
or as resentful.
You'll be adaptable as well, I guess.
Yes.
Good point. Good point. Okay, so this is coming down to another thing which, since you mentioned about starting Dear Straight People and it making you more pragmatic, right? I would say that because you started Dear Straight People with it not being anything, but then now you are steering it towards being a business, is it?
I wouldn't say I'm steering it to a business, but it has a presence now.
It has a presence now. Okay, so you already mentioned what inspired you to start Dear Straight People.
Yes. I mean, in my coming out story, but if you want me to say again, I can say again.
Sure, do tell us that, because I believe our audience needs to know, man. Because after all, that's the what I'm supposed to lead you towards is to tell us more about your coming out story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why I started this review was because I think for me, I came out comparatively quite late for people of my generation. I came out when I was 23.
Yeah.
So at that point of time when I came out, for a lot of my friends, they're not your typical fact hacks and stuff. I was really the first gay person that they've ever had as a friend.
Oh, okay.
So they were all asking me all kind of weird questions.
Like what? What do you mean by weird questions? Like, I'm curious because like I cannot relate.
You know, like, are you the man or the woman in a relationship?
Right,
things like that. You know, it's very typical questions that straight people who are not as in tune with the community will ask lah. Because I think they're naturally curious lah. But back then, I didn't see it that way, so I got quite annoyed. So when I started Dear Straight People, it was supposed to be like, Dear Straight People, not like
Stop being cunts.
So if you look, and then as I started writing, so I think the very first article I wrote was like, Dear Straight People, not everyone is interested in you. That was the first article that I wrote, and that was how it actually started lah. But what I realized is that no one was very interested in that. So, and then I guess over time it just became something else entirely lah.
Which is now, how would you describe it?
Now I think because Dear Straight People became known for its coming out stories, for telling very perspective kind of pieces and stuff, it is kind of seen as a very social website.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people mistake it for charity.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm also starting to, I guess, diversify the content now, which is why now you'll see a lot more lifestyle stuff, a lot more fun stuff.
Right.
Because I think that
that is more tailored to the LGBTQ community. Fun stuff like.
I think like for you know, as a gay man myself, I don't just want to read about coming out stories, oppression stories. I also sometimes want to read about where to eat, what to do, you know, things like that. Or like sometimes I would just want to have a laugh.
Okay.
You know? So I guess it's really about diversifying the content, and I think that for people who do need those coming out stories to in their lives, there's more than enough content out there already.
Okay.
So I don't want to keep doing the same content over and over again. You know, as a content creator, it can get quite boring if I keep telling the same story over and over again.
Okay, makes sense. Sorry, there's a huge gray paragraph which I cannot read. Okay, so one of the paragraphs that we sourced out from your coming out story, I believe. Okay, after coming out to yourself, I started to come out to my social circle, which was predominantly straight. While I didn't encounter any adverse reactions, I realized that misconceptions were rife. You addressed this already, right?
Yep.
Then that was when it struck me that that a gap existed between the straight and queer communities, because queer publications were only talking to queer audiences. So were you seeking to bridge the gap, or were you just like you mentioned, it's like, Dear Straight People, can you don't like this?
I was seeking to bridge that gap. But obviously not in as noble a way now as I was then lah. But definitely there was a gap. Because I think what you realize is that if you do look at a lot of gay publications, there's a lot of skin, a lot of like bulge. Like even as a gay man myself, sometimes when I open up these websites, I feel very conscious. Like I will feel like people might think I'm watching porn, but actually I'm not. I'm just reading a website. So which is why I sought to make a website that was more straight friendly, that like a straight person would open it up and not feel conscious that someone is like will look at them and, hey, what are you
doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Okay.
So yeah, I think that a bridge was necessary, because I think before Dear Straight People, I don't think there was any publication like that.
So it's a little bit more friendly to every single person who encountered it lah. Like the content is also can be consumed in a way without people misunderstanding.
Yes.
Awesome stuff. So do you think that starting Dear Straight People, so maybe not starting it, but like growing it up from how it started, right? Do you think it was a struggle for you?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, share about that.
Growing it, I think initially, before I joined TSL was a real struggle. I really didn't know what I was doing. My degree in comms wasn't very applicable.
As in comms, that means the art side of it lah.
Yes.
Okay.
It wasn't very applicable lah. So it was a struggle in the sense that back then, when your website is small, it's very hard to get help.
As in, what do you mean by that?
So now, right, I have help in the sense that it's not very difficult for me to find people to collaborate with or people to help me out with stuff.
Okay.
But back then, I had to do everything myself lah. And especially back when I was an auditor, auditor, we end it. Yeah. On a good day, we end at 10 p.m.
Right.
But most of the time, we end past midnight.
It's like some very odd working hours lah.
Yes. So it was a struggle back then, I think, trying to churn out content. And back then, I had a very traditional mindset in how I was doing content, in the sense that, like, 1 week must have 1 article out at least.
Okay. I mean, that's a good system, but
it's not something that I believe in anymore, but that was how I did it for maybe like the first 2-3 years of this report.
Right.
So it was a struggle in the sense of coming out with content, and also it was a struggle of getting people to, I guess, even listen to me. Because I think what you realize is that when you're starting out, people can be quite condescending.
Oh, okay.
So when I'm like trying to like get interviews or whatever, people will be like, "Oh, dear what people, dear what," and then you have to, in a sense, sell it to them.
Right.
So that was a struggle, and I'm not someone that likes to.
You don't like to beg people for stuff.
Yes, I don't like to beg.
Yeah.
I think you should know me.
I know this about you.
So that was a struggle for me. Like,
yeah.
I mean, now it's a lot better, but back then, I think that was a bigger struggle.
Okay. But eventually, what was the big break? Was it your story or?
There was no big break actually for DS Review.
It was just a slow burn all the way.
It was really a slow burn. Like,
okay.
I used to think that if you publish a very viral story,
super
like
viral stuff,
100,000 views, then maybe out of the 100,000, at least maybe 20,000-30,000 will like your page. But no, it does not work that way. Maybe out of the 100,000, less than 1,000 will actually follow your page.
Yeah.
They will just read it.
And
so I think DS Review has produced a lot of viral content over the years.
Yeah.
But there was never a single piece of content that really caused it to explode.
Okay.
I mean, even the Same Love, the very first episode of Same Love that got over 500,000 views.
Yeah.
It brought in like maybe 1,500 likes.
Do you think from these likes, right, or like let's say people that follow the page now, right? Do you think as a result of that more straight people follow or more of the LGBTQ plus community follow?
I think the majority of the following is still LGBTQ.
Right.
But I think there is definitely a sizable portion of straight people. Because sometimes when I have nothing to do, I'm going to look at who is liking the page.
And you see, this one whole hand with girl. This one
and you can tell who are the straight ones and who are the not ones.
Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, moving on. Where are we? Okay. Next question, right? Do you feel extra pressure, okay, personally, in your personal life especially, being known as the DSP founder and, extra pressure, being known as the DSP founder, to do more for the gay community? Because I think there's this little unspoken thing which I've heard my gay friends mention before, whereby they feel that the gay influencers should be doing more for the gay community, blah blah blah, that kind of debate, right? Right? Tell us more about that. What do you feel?
Okay, I think wow, okay, wait, that's 2 questions.
Yes.
Which one you want me to answer?
The first one will be you being the DSP founder. Do you feel more pressure to do more for the gay community?
Yes.
Okay. Then secondly, right, on the debates, right, being all gay influencers, hey, do something for the community. Do you think yes, they should do it? Why? Or do you think all these people should stop bothering people?
I think that gay influencers, if they're in a position to do it, I mean, okay, how do I put it? I don't think they're obligated to do it.
Right.
But I think it would be nice if more of them were to promote social causes as opposed to what they're currently promoting now.
Right. That was a very well-crafted response. Okay. So, but like, okay, you see, the gay community. I mean, I'm not familiar with it, right? So I don't know what the sentiment is when it comes to let's say finding support and stuff like that. So, do you think that a lot of people would want to find more support from the more influential people in the community, or is it still a small community trying to reach out to the general public?
I think it's very different in the sense that the gay influencers, right? They are people wouldn't follow them for support,
Okay.
right? People will follow them because they are nice to look at. Okay.
We live in a pragmatic world.
Yes. But there is support. I mean, it's quite
Okay.
easy to get support. I mean,
Right.
there are a lot of organizations out there who are doing very good stuff, like Pink
Like-
Dot, Uga Chaga, T Project. So
Right.
there is that support out there.
Okay.
But in the sense of whether these gay influencers should be helping, I think a lot of them who do not help, maybe they are not in a position to help. They might not be out,
Right.
or they may be in the media industry where it can be very tricky.
Okay.
Things like that. So which is why I said they're not obligated to help.
Yeah.
But if they can, it will be nicer.
Okay, so I mean, if people who are hard pressing these people, who may not understand the circumstance, what would you say to people like that?
To the people who are pressuring these people,
Yeah,
chill lah.
I was expecting the answer, but I mean more, man, more. What if besides chill? Okay, never mind. Next, okay, is your identity pegged to being the DSP founder, or do you wish to be known for being just more than that?
I'm quite okay with being known as the DSP founder. I think that is probably the most. I mean, for now, I think I don't see myself achieving anything more than that. I think
like
that sounds
that.
a bit sad, but I mean,
Yeah.
I think that even if I were to achieve, because obviously to me DSP is not my day job lah.
Yeah.
Even if I were to achieve a lot of success in my day job one day
Yeah.
and like earn a lot, I still wouldn't find it as significant as I guess starting the triple and the work it has done lah.
Right.
So I'm quite okay with just being known for that.
So, would you like to grow DSP into something that is a business, or would you like it to grow into something that's, I don't know, maybe bigger than Singapore, more than across Singapore, more international, maybe regional and stuff like that? Is there any plans for that or any thoughts on that?
Okay. DSP, I think to be pragmatic,
Yeah.
DSP needs to be commercialized for it to survive in the long term.
Yeah.
So it has been commercialized, almost since the beginning.
Yeah.
Because even when I get people to write for me or people to shoot stuff for me, they can do it out of friendship once or twice, but right. But in the long term, you have to pay them. And like now, I am paying people every month to help me do stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So, but in the sense of like completely turning into a business,
Yeah.
I think that even if one day if that were to happen, DSP people still needs to remember its roots lah.
Yeah.
Which is that it was set up to, I guess, help the community. So it should, well, it can churn out commercialized content every now and then.
Yeah.
But it should also churn out content that aims to do nothing more than to help the community lah,
to fit
in a
the
sense.
original plan and stuff like that lah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in terms of like making international, I think for it to even survive pragmatically, or
Yeah.
maybe within the next 5 years, it will have to expand regionally.
Right.
I think Singapore is too small a market for it to sustain in long term. So yeah, there are plans to do that. But not sure whether they'll turn out.
Okay. Good. So I would say that right now you are more or less satisfied for just being DSP founder, Mr. Sean Fu.
I mean, that is all there is to me now. So I also don't know how else I would sell myself. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so then we just move on to something that is a little bit beyond just DSP to find out a little bit more about the gay community and stuff like that, because I believe a lot of people like me are very ignorant about it. So what do you wish society's attitude towards gay people would be like, to be like? Because I believe right now there's still a lot of this fight between LGBTQ and traditional values and stuff like that. Yeah. So what do you wish society's attitude to become for the gay community?
I guess more empathetic.
Yeah.
I think what a lot of people are under the impression now is that because you see when I publish a coming out story, for example,
Right.
it will get a lot of likes, a lot of shares, a lot of very positive comments. But what people don't realize is that all these likes and shares that you see online, right, are purely just that. They are really just likes and shares.
So it's very superficial.
It's very superficial in the sense that they don't realize what the people are going through offline. So I've had interviewees who were caught into their employer's office before for appearing on those people.
Oh man.
I've had interviewees who were caught into their schools for appearing on those people. I've had interviewees who like had full out family fallout because of it. But the general public will not be aware of all this.
Yeah.
Because it's not something that we want to push out.
Yeah.
So in a sense, if I had to say one thing, I'd just say be more empathetic. Because when these people are telling their stories, and just because you see them out and proud, it doesn't mean that
everything is okay,
yes,
right?
as in there is still a lot of work that needs to be done.
Right. Okay, so that's society. Okay, then do you realistically think, okay, that something like this with a society that's, I wouldn't say 100% more empathetic, maybe 100% more empathetic than it is now. That means way more empathetic. Do you think it's realistic for it to happen within your lifetime?
I would hope so. I mean, honestly, right? I've seen it just over the years that I started doing it. So when I first published the first coming out stories, the first 3 or 4 coming out stories, they all got over 1,000 shares, without me boosting anything. So it was really completely organic. And back then, right, that was a time when Dear Straight People did not even have a Facebook page. So it was really just a blog. So people were
like those blogspot.
Yeah, really like the blogspot kind. So people were sharing it like over 1,000 times for the first few stories. Cause back then, like no one in Singapore was doing that, and no one has really seen that kind of content before. But now, when I publish this kind of stuff, people are just, it's just another coming out story from Dear Straight People. You know, so in a sense, people have become more empathetic in the sense that I guess we have moved past the initial issues, like the very issues like struggling, discrimination. So now even when I tell stories, there are certain issues that I think people are more understanding of. I guess in the sense the demographic that this people reaches out to like that demographic, there's certain topics that are already covered.
Right.
So I think the empathy is definitely increasing. But at the same time, obviously there's a lot of pushback now. You know, same thing with Pink Dot. As Pink Dot grows bigger, so does the opposing side.
Right.
But I think realistically, in my lifetime, I don't know what will happen, but I think that definitely there will be a greater understanding achieved.
So you mentioned that, this initially when you were thinking of publishing all these coming out stories and blah, 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 that was the struggle, right? And that was what I believe the gay community initially had to push against, right? So as this has changed, what is the new thing that you'll have to like push against?
Now, right, Dear Straight People, it touches on a lot of topics that are more controversial in a sense. So I guess it's about us dealing with ourselves. For example, I've published coming out stories of a guy in a three-way relationship. I published pieces on open relationships. But these are all things that are actually quite prevalent in the gay community, but it's something that we all, for some reason, can't seem to come to terms with. You know, within the community. So that is something that I guess, in reply to your question, is
the new
thing,
frontier,
which is dealing with ourselves and accepting our community for what it is. Because I don't see why people are always so ashamed of it.
Okay. Understand. Okay. Give me a moment. Are we gonna... Okay. We pause first. Okay, so we're back. Okay, so building on an earlier point, okay? So we always feel like, maybe I have a misconception, maybe you can correct me, but I always feel that like there's always this little mini fight for gay rights and equality between the straight the rest of the community and LGBTQ. Do you think this fight for gay rights and equality will ever be won?
Ever be won?
Yes.
Like you mean like reach a conclusion, is it?
Yes.
Eventually, yes.
How do you see this thing going down?
I think it's just a matter of whether I think with every social cause in history, let's say when it came to women's rights or things like that, there will always be an opposing side.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But then, like for example, I think when women were fighting for their rights, it didn't really matter how many people. It wasn't really a numbers game back then.
Right.
It was always about doing what is right.
Okay.
Same things with slavery in America.
Yeah.
There was a lot of pushback as well.
Yeah.
So I think eventually, I think in Singapore right now it is still the powers that be has made it very passive.
Right.
Basically, they're just letting
things just go. You know.
Yep.
Let the children play. That kind of.
So basically, they're just letting the fight be there lah.
Yeah.
Without really doing much about it. But I think eventually, hopefully, when the next generation takes over,
Right.
There'll be more people on I guess my side
Yeah.
than there will be on the other side.
Okay. Here's to it being a not being a never ending fight. Okay, so next thing is also another question that we have about the gay community. So what do you think, right, in the LGBTQ community, right? What do you think you know could be done better? What is one thing you do not like about the community?
Oh, that I do not like.
Yes.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Or you find that
Okay.
that's not too cool, you know?
Okay, no, I'm gonna answer your initial question.
Okay.
Which is what is one thing that can be done better.
Okay.
Which is what you notice, right, about the opposing camp is that they're very organized. Very, very organized. Whereas the LGBTQ community is not organized at all. Everyone is doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And there is very little coordination in a sense.
Yeah.
I think that's something that can be improved.
Okay, coordination in a struggle like that makes sense. I think because like I would say for the straight community or the majority of the community, it's all there's a lot of history backing them, so they just stabilize themselves, and then everyone seems to have like one common direction.
No, that's not what I meant. What I meant was that, for example, right, certain institutions. Okay, this is all based on hearsay.
Right.
Okay, I'm not sure whether it's actually true.
Okay.
But I heard certain institutions they will instruct their members
Yeah.
to all write in letters to particular MPs all at the same time.
Well,
And that's what happens. So that is the kind of coordination that happens.
Right.
Which is why I say they're very well coordinated.
That is really extreme. Okay, I didn't realize this. Okay. I'm just an ignorant boy. Okay. Next. Okay. More of your coming out of the closet articles. Yeah. Producers say you're out of the closet articles, right? Don't have much details. Damn it. Do you wish to include more details about your struggles and life?
No.
Why and why not?
I've always been a private person, so
Okay.
I think so.
Elaborate on that. What do you mean by more? Okay.
You see,
Yeah.
my coming out story, when me publishing my coming out story, it took me. That was actually the longest time I ever took to write a coming out story.
Right.
So it was a story that I wrote over a few months.
Yes.
And I had a very specific purpose for that story, and
Which
was number one, to kind of come out.
Yeah.
Just the act of coming out.
Yeah.
Because I think even back then I was quite closeted in the sense that not many people in my social circle knew I was gay.
Yeah.
So like when I came out, like there were a lot of people who had that shock response, like, oh, you are
Right.
gay, you know.
Right.
I think maybe people in TSL will not get that because I'm so open in TSL, but back
Right.
then I was not very open.
Right.
So one of the aim was to come out, and then second aim was really just to take ownership of what I was doing lah, and explain why I was doing it, you know. Which is why I put in just enough details for those aims to be achieved, and whatever else that it was not necessary was not included lah.
Okay. Okay. Very, very practical. So I mean, let's just try to get you to be a little bit less practical here, since we're just having a nice conversation. You know, tell us a little bit more about. I mean, we all want to know more about Sean. This is, after all, your episode. We want to know a little bit more. Tell us maybe a little bit about. I'm just gonna give you a question from one of the question banks that we have to find out a little bit more about you. If in your family, for example, okay, who is the person you respect the most?
My family,
Yeah.
my dad lah.
Why? What's
Why not?
No, you must think, right? You know, like some people say the mother, some people say the father. Why one or the other?
My dad is he's a true family man.
Yeah.
He has devoted his entire life to this family.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really think for himself, so he thinks for the family.
So do you think he is the kind of role model you want to become in future?
I will hope so, but I don't think
Yeah.
I will ever become as selfless as he.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then why not your mother? No, what? I mean, this is just find out more, right?
I respect my mom as well.
Yeah.
Just that I respect my mom in a different way.
In a different way.
Yeah.
Is she...
She's a tiger mom. lah.
Oh, I have the same type of mom. Damn. Singaporean mom, cheers to that. Cheers to Tiger Mothers. Wow, damn. I remember going into Catholic High because she just said, oh, Lee Hsien Yang is down there. Alumni must be a good school. Then I'm like, oh. Okay, cool beans. Okay, now that we found out a little bit more. Okay, so another thing that give me a moment. This one, I believe this is another excerpt probably from your coming out story. So in school, my effeminate nature made me an easy target. I lost count the number of times people call me a sissy. I grew up to naturally hate that word. Yeah. So, do you think this is a common problem that people in the LGBTQ community face?
I feel like almost every gay guy that I've talked to,
Yeah.
no matter how masculine they might appear now,
Yeah.
we're all bullied for being
Effeminate.
at one point or another.
Like, is this as a result of your still discovering your identity, or?
I don't know. I mean, it boils down to the debate over nature versus nurture, lah.
Right,
like,
right.
That's if there is a gay gene or whatever else that makes us
Right.
gay. I guess logically you could say that it makes us more effeminate in a sense, lah.
Okay. So being such a common problem, right?
Yep.
I would say people encounter this and then they hold a lot of negative emotions because of the environment being negative towards them, right? What's your advice for people who went through this similar bullying as you? You know, for people who have been through it and people who might still be in it, you know, might still be in a younger setting where people are not so accepting.
Okay. I think that once again, there are two ways to do this.
Yeah.
One is you accept the world for what it is and then you
Right.
change, which is what I did.
Yeah.
So I mean, now I think people cannot really tell, because I think
Yeah.
I'm quite. Yeah, I present myself generally quite masculine.
Yeah.
But it was not a natural thing
Yeah.
for me. So I did have to I would watch the way I
So this was
I
like
carried
sort
myself.
of something you learned to do.
Yep, something that I kind of, in a sense, forced myself to adapt.
Right.
Because I realized that, if you present yourself a certain way, you're just making yourself an easy target for
Yeah.
people. So instead of being bullied all the time, why don't you just change? So
Right.
that was what I told myself, and that was how I changed. And eventually, I changed myself to a person that no one would dare to bully. Right. Then but again, when people ask me that question, I don't know whether this is the best advice to give,
Yeah.
because I think there are some people who can adapt, and then there
Yeah.
are some people who just cannot.
I
adapt.
was about to ask you that because I don't think this is something that everyone can
Yep.
act out, you know.
So I think for people who cannot adapt, I think it's really just learning, accepting yourself for what it is, lah.
Yeah.
So for me, like, one reason why I really, really hated being called a sissy was because I think it was done in a very condescending way.
Yeah.
I think back then it wasn't as open as it is now. So when you're a sissy, it's a very
Derogatory
term.
lah. Yeah.
But I think now people are a lot more open.
Yeah.
You know, you'll see a lot of, like being a sissy may not be as I really don't know how is it like in schools now. But
yeah.
But I would imagine it's a lot more open, and hopefully,
Like I believe maybe the kids are a little bit more accepting of each other.
And,
Right.
and if that is the case, then I think people will just need to accept themselves for what they are.
Okay. Makes sense. I think this goes the same for any kind of bullying.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, one of the points that producer found out was that you criticized mainstream media for having gay censorship, right? Right. So, firstly, do you think that this situation is getting better?
No.
No, completely not.
Completely not lah. I don't think there's been progress. So
Not at all, especially in mainstream media. Why? Why
okay,
do you
wait,
think
okay,
that's the case?
okay.
Like, maybe you give us an example of where something you feel that was very unjustly censored.
Okay, but all the things that were censored are like very stupid.
You finish that sentence.
Very trivial things. For example, like maybe a gay kiss will be omitted from a movie.
Right.
Just like a very short 2-second kiss.
Yeah.
Things like that. Or like a gay movie will get a much higher rating than it should get.
Okay.
So it's these kind of things lah. I think
Yeah.
that is where progress is lacking. But I think in a sense that, okay, now that I think about it, there has been some progress lah. I think
Yeah.
like LGBT issues are getting more mainstream coverage, and not necessarily in a negative light.
Yeah.
So particularly, I feel like particularly stories on the trans community. They get a lot more like mainstream media coverage, and it's done in a more empathetic,
Right.
more positive light.
In Singapore or internationally?
In Singapore.
Do you think that this is as a result of international TV programs?
I think yes, in one way, and it's also a result of, I guess, alternative news sites.
Yeah.
Maybe such as Dear Straight People.
Yeah.
When we produce content that goes viral, I think mainstream media will take a notice and say that, oh, okay, there is general interest in these kind of things. Let's go and do something like that also.
Okay.
You know?
I didn't think about it like that. So do you what do you think is the reason behind the heavy gay censorship right now?
Well, you have to ask the people running the censorship.
I mean, I believe you have an idea, right?
No,
What do you think is the reason?
I do not have an idea. To me, it's very puzzling. So no, I don't.
Illuminati. Okay, awesome. Okay, next question. Okay, I believe we're gonna take some questions off Instagram, so we're gonna find out a little bit more about you. Okay, so one of the Instagram handles which you may find familiar, I don't know who this is, Breaking Bones, asks, right, what's your most awkward sex situation?
I didn't know this show was going to become so NSFW. Are you sure you want this? The direction of this show?
For the not safe for work stuff, just plug into our podcast and find out a little bit more.
When the guy shits love, but
okay, I believe that answers everything.
yes.
Next is another person you might find familiar. His name is Dexter Louis. He asks, "Are you gay?"
I think you shut up.
Someone asks, "Are you seeing anyone now?"
No.
No. Okay. Another one asks, "What is your goal?" It's a super vague question. Maybe you could tell us your goal in life and your goal in... I don't know, man. What is your goal? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when this question pops up?
Nothing comes to my mind.
Wow.
I think it's The Godfather. Wait. What is my goal?
Yeah.
What is your goal, John?
Well, my goal... my goal is to just be an all-around good person and then eventually die in a heroic way out on the field taking nice journalistic photos.
You came up with it so fast. Okay, my goal is to make a difference.
To make a difference. So you will hold... I believe this is where most of your actions are rooted as well.
Yep.
I stem from.
To feel like I had a purpose, I guess.
Okay, good. Someone asks, how do you define love?
If you think you're in love, then you're in love.
Oh, wow. Print that on a t-shirt. Okay. Next, another person who also may sound familiar. His name is Hui Fab. So, where you get your shirt from?
He was talking about another shirt.
What about this shirt? Where did you get this shirt from?
A friend sold it to me.
Okay. Another guy called Hock Lee, right? Hock Lee. What is your biggest pet peeve in a relationship?
Well, I have many pet peeves.
The top one or top two?
Pet peeves means must be like so those
Like, you know, if they do
stupid
it, you're
behavior.
like, yeah. Anything that makes you respond with a that can evolve into like, oi. Yeah.
When they don't touch me.
Is your love language touch?
Yes.
What's your second one?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's just touch.
Okay. Then next one is I believe this one gets a little bit more serious. Someone asks, how do I come out to my friends and family?
I always get these kind of questions.
Yeah, but like I believe...
And I never know how to answer them because I think it really depends on your personal situation.
Okay.
I think that, firstly, you should know your friends and family best, whether they will be accepting or not.
Yeah.
And if there's a chance that they are not accepting, let's say if it's your family and you are in a sense, you have to depend on them.
Yeah.
Then you should be financially independent before you come out.
Right.
If you have to.
In case anything happens.
Yes, in case anything happens.
Right.
Friends, I feel not as hard. If they don't accept you, then just change friends. So.
That's true. I mean, that's kind of
But
true.
family,
right?
you cannot change that. So I think family is where most of the issues lie. So yeah.
Do you think this happens to a lot of people in the LGBTQ community? When they come out, then the biggest resistance usually comes from the family? Or?
It's always from the family. I never really
Right.
hear it from friends unless you have a lot of church friends or something.
Right. So, like, okay, I'm just curious, what is the most, like, extreme story you've heard that come from, like, a family situation?
Oh, getting kicked out, though?
Like, I mean that, more details, like, besides getting kicked out, like, how how far is this person being removed from the family unit altogether by the family? Like, on the street also don't recognize that kind of thing, I don't know. I'm just curious for what kind of stories may come out from this kind of thing.
So all these stories that I get are people who write into me on Instagram
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So in terms of my friends, like my personal friends, most of them do not have these kind of stories.
Right, which is fortunate, yeah.
But these stories, as in, it can... I don't remember the details, but
What?
usually it's about getting kicked out, not having a place to live, that kind of thing, crashing your friends, and then they're asking me for advice.
Right. So how would you advise people like this if really do encounter someone who is essentially rendered homeless because of whatever they did?
I think first step, depending on where you are, trying to see if there is a homeless shelter
Right.
for I guess people like that.
Yeah.
If there isn't, then turn to whatever organization there is in their country or city and see how they can help.
Okay. Boss? Okay, so next time we're gonna move on is to after our Instagram little Instagram poll, right? We have a few more questions that are a little bit more airy and abstract concepts. We want to find out a little bit more about your personality, First question is something we found off the internet, which I think a lot of people ask each other. It's like, if you could speak to anyone in heaven, so preferably this person is guided. Okay.
Guided.
Who would it be? Doesn't have to be someone famous. It could be someone
I don't know. The person in my head is Lee Kuan Yew now, but that could be because all his books are staring at me.
I mean, there's more to talk here. Madam Chan can shake also.
Lee Kuan Yew, I guess. I know his grandson, so
Right.
it'll be nice. I want to ask him about that.
Like, as in about his whole
His gay
grandson
grandson.
situation. Okay, next. At what age, right, do you learn the most about yourself? Or maybe if
That was
age is
definitely
difficult,
not
right?
an Instagram question.
Yeah, but like maybe not age, but like maybe at which stage of your life, you could tell us that you realize you learn the most about yourself. Where you discover that I'm this and this.
I think I learned the most about myself when I first started Dear Straight People.
Right.
Of the struggle that it was.
Yeah.
I think when you go through struggles, you tend to find out a lot more about yourself. And then last year was when I realized that I didn't really know myself that well.
Right. So are you still on some kind of self-discovery?
Yeah.
Because it's not just I believe a lot of the questions we asked today has been very tailored towards like sexuality and like stuff like that. But other aspects of yourself, I believe like there's more to you than just this. So still discovering.
Still discovering. I think aren't we all?
Aren't we all? Print that on the t-shirt, second line. Okay. So what's one thing that you have done, right? That people think maybe let me rephrase this. What do you not regret to have done when other people think you should have? What's one thing?
What do I
not regret having done when other people... It could have elicited like a negative response from people and stuff like that, but you have not regretted doing this thing.
I feel like you're gonna roll your eyes. Guess what I'm gonna say.
Say.
Start Dear Straight.
Okay, next one is, what is the nicest thing that you've ever done for someone?
Help them when they didn't deserve it.
Like, what kind of help? Like financially help them, or well, why don't you tell us about this story? Like, keep it simple, keep it vague if you don't want to reveal too much details.
And the person will know that I'm talking about them.
Yeah, the person will be watching this episode anyway.
I was in a situation once where I reached out to this person for help.
Yeah.
In a particular situation, and this person didn't help me.
Right.
When this person could have helped.
Yeah.
Fast forward a few years later, this person reached out to me with that exact same situation.
Right.
And I helped this person. Yeah.
How many times have you encountered this?
Oh, it's just like once. Just this person.
Okay. So, do you believe, right, that every life in the universe, in whatever, is of equal value?
Every life,
Yeah.
No.
No. And that's why you're not vegan, right?
Yeah.
What about every human life?
Equal value,
Yeah.
Wow.
So the next person on the street is of equal value to you.
Oh, to me,
I believe so, because we're all humans, right? Do we all our lives are of equal value? Think about it.
Should there will be a very long, awkward silence.
Difficult. For me, right, I'll just tell you my answer. My answer, I think, is no.
Why?
Because I feel that everybody has like a different levels of contribution to human society and to the universe, and as such, right, these people will hold different value. When you have no contribution, I feel that, unfortunately, it's very sad to say, but your life is definitely less valuable than someone who could further the human cause, or it could improve the universe in general. That's my take.
I agree.
You don't give me that nonsense.
No, I agree. Yes.
Okay, fine.
Okay, next question.
Okay,
Thanks.
what scares you the most about growing old?
Death.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you? I mean, that means you're really scared of dying.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Wait. Do you think this stem from anything, or is it just irrational fear?
No. I just feel I haven't achieved everything I wanted to achieve yet.
Right.
Mm.
Okay. Do you think this drives you to drives you harder?
In a way, yes.
In a way, yes. Okay. Next, how long did it take for you to learn to love yourself?
I'm not really someone that hates myself.
As you can see from him slowly positioning the camera so that he can get his best side out.
So, love myself. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say I love myself. I just kind of accept myself for who
Yeah.
I am. I think people who tend to have a lot of... Oh, God. Okay.
Say it.
This is why I want to say.
Say it.
I feel people who tend to hate themselves is because they might have certain unrealistic expectations of themselves.
Right.
For me, I feel like the reason why I don't hate myself is because I've come to terms with the fact that I'm just not good at some things, but I'm
Right,
good at other
right.
things. So like, if I'm not an exceptional photographer, it's
You won't beat
okay.
yourself up for not being
Yes,
able to
because
take
it's
nice
not
photos.
really my goal. So
Right.
yeah lah. I've always been like that in a sense, I guess.
So I guess the answer to this is not to have unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, and I guess just to accept the fact that you're not going to be good at everything. And not everyone's going to like you. And you just have to be okay with that.
Very wise. Very wise. Do you feel like anything is missing from your life?
Love.
I'm gonna bring up an earlier quote, aren't we all? Missing love. Okay. And what is a bad habit, okay, that you have had but you have managed to break?
What, break?
How do you it requires a drink? Or is it you still holding on to it, haven't break?
I mean, if you stay still holding on, haven't break, it's like being late.
I believe you're doing a good job.
Only at work. I have this habit of wanting things that I cannot get.
In what sense? Material things or abstract things?
Like, things.
Okay. that pause was...
Basically, wanting people that I cannot get. I don't know. Maybe I get through of it.
Okay.
And not cherishing people that...
Already,
Yeah.
Okay. This got real. Okay, our very last question. Do you believe, right, success comes in the form of money or success comes in the form of happiness?
I think success comes in whatever way that person defines it. So it's all a matter of being very honest with yourself. Like, if you tell yourself that money, like, you just want to be happy.
Yeah.
Then when you finally are, like, if you are still not contented, then it means that that's not the answer. Maybe
Means
you
there's
want
something
wealth,
else.
maybe you want some other stuff.
Right.
So I think success means different things to different people.
What about for you?
For me, yeah. I'm greedy lah, so I want everything.
You want everything. Okay. Everything. Money and happiness and love.
Yes.
Love. We all need love. One last question from Instagram before we move on for Railsies to NZs. How you lost so much weight?
Well, diet I took up a challenge.
Yeah.
With this meal prep company and this personal training business.
Right.
Yeah. So they plan my diet and my.
Are you still doing that?
No.
Have you
As in, I'm not doing that, but I think I learned a lot from that, and so I'm still doing a form of that, but in a more realistic way.
Right.
Like you can still enjoy life, kind like eat pasta.
Can drink this.
Yeah, can drink beer, things like that.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, there are any final words for our audience?
Like, share, and subscribe.
All right, thank you for watching this episode of HTHT. So today, once again, we have with us Sean. My name is John, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Goodbye. Bye. Bye.
Am I supposed to say bye?
I don't know.